Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Old Streams Farm. It is Tuesday, February 8th, 2017, 12:04 a.m. We're going to run for about 45 minutes. Then I need to get my big fat butt in bed. We should be done with the plowing and hopefully some more of the farmyard work by that time. But it does take quite a while to plow. Fortunately, we only have to do it once every 3 harvests. Oops, I just dug up some of their crop. Sorry. So it doesn't have to happen too often, but it still does have to happen occasionally. But we're going to get these fields nice and ready to go, and I'm going to be planting... gosh, if we're going to do the hunt, I can plant whatever I want, because we're going to buy a header, so... I've been thinking about the harvester. I think we're just going to keep the harvester that we have. Simply because it's big enough for what we're doing on these fields. I mean, these are really small fields. And if I get a larger harvester, it's going to cause problems trying to get around town. Even the case would be a little bit too large because this is a really small map. There's just not a lot of room for equipment to get in and out and around. So as you can see here, that's the entryway right there. So to get a big harvester with a big header in here, it's a nightmare. I think I will grow corn here because we can actually fold the header up and get it in here. The other option would be, since I'm thinking about buying a forage harvester, we could buy let's see. Oops. Oh, and I forgot. I forgot to mention this in my other episode. The big news of the day is that Kuhn is releasing a huge... Giants is releasing a huge Kuhn pack of DLC in the next couple days here, the 14th of February. So in less than a week, we're going to have, for the first time, we're going to have a combo round bale / wrapper. It's going to bale and wrap at the same time. We're also getting a Kuhn square bale wrapper, which is going to be really nice to have the ability to wrap square bales. So for those of you that have been crying out for that, including myself, I've been always wanting to have a square bale wrapper. We are now going to be able to wrap our hay bales that are square. This is great news. There's just so much great content that's coming out for the Farm Simulator. And I'm watching, just some of these mods that are coming out. Kyle's been showing me some. There's a new Tatra that has a flatbed on it that's really cool. They just keep coming out with new stuff, and this is exciting. This is what makes this game so great, is the community around it. That, the mods are what makes this game playable for so long. If you had just the 2 maps and the same tractors, I could see why people get bored of it. But because we have so much available, options that go on forever, it's just you can... If you want to make a Russian farm with all Russian equipment, or all Eastern Bloc equipment anyway. Oops, I don't want to switch yet. Stay back. It's all out there. There's MTZ tractors now. There's a whole bunch of unfortunately, some of them are crappy mods that have been ported from FS15, but there's some great ones out there. Those the UTB tractors that we're using on Sosnovka are just top notch, and the Zetter Crystal that they gave us is also just top notch. It's an A+ tractor. Oops. Ding the grass. That's going to happen from time to time. I'll probably just leave it. Come on, baby. Pull that up. Yeah. Love this. So, what did you guys think about the Super Bowl on Sunday? I know there's probably some of you that were disappointed at the outcome. I will say this. I am not a football follower. I have not watched a Super Bowl in over 10 years. And I could care less who won. I really don't know anything about the Patriots. I don't know anything about the Giants. Not the Giants, the Falcons. But I did hear that there was obviously some controversy surrounding the Patriots a couple years ago, and I don't know, it's left a bad taste in people's mouths. But it was an incredible game. I've watched football as a teenager quite a bit. I used to watch the Browns all the time, lose. But it was back in the day when we had a really good team. We had Bernie Kosar as quarterback. and we had, Hanford Dixon, and we had, all these amazing. Oh, stop it. We had a lot of amazing players on the Browns, and it just, I watched game after game after game, so I understand the game, and I've seen amazing football games, and I've seen terrible football games, and ones that you just want to, curl up in a ball and cry. This was an amazing football game. I was, at first it looked like it was going to be, it's just another stupid Super Bowl, and the Falcons just wipe them out. It's like, and they were getting wiped. They were really mopping up the floor with the Patriots. It was looking really bad, and then the Patriots came back to win. I'm like, that was like the most exciting, like maybe 45 minutes to hour of football. That last, half of the third quarter and fourth quarter, when they just all of a sudden you had a different team on the field and they came alive and fought tooth and nail. It was just I've never seen anything like it before. It was quite an incredible transition from being really bad to being really good. So anyway, I thought it was fun. I'm glad I went to watch it. My friend invited me over, and I'm like, yeah, sure. So I went over and watched it, and I'm really glad that I did. I was expecting it to be. I was like, oh man, Super Bowl party, snooze. It was great. Hello, cruise control. So despite who you like, I hope that you guys were at least enjoyed the amazing game that happened there, because it was there was some amazing stuff that went on there. I know some people are saying that the last touchdown was not real or something. I saw somebody putting I don't know. I watched it. We watched the replays, and it was pretty clear that his knee did go down, but it didn't go down until after he had passed the line of scrimmage, or the line into the end zone. I think as long as the football travels into the end zone, it doesn't have to touch the ground. As long as it's in the vicinity, they count it as a touchdown. So anyway, I also thought it was cool how many Alfa Romeo commercials. Oh, and the World of Tanks commercial, of course, was pretty funny. People were like, what? I'm like, that's a game we play. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's a great game. So here's this referral code. Just kidding. Sadly, I didn't refer anyone, so I'd never have time to play. So, but we did play tonight on my channel. For those of you that watched, if you want to see the Twitch replays, it's out there. It was a bad night. We Black Chicken and I were playing, and we kept getting stomped. I don't know what my problem was. Black Chicken always scores well. I was way down the list in a lot of the games. I just couldn't do anything. I felt like an old blind man trying to. It was like 3 blind mice clicking around the stick. I can't see the ball. I can't see. Are there tanks out there? Of course, I did play a lot of tanks that I'm grinding, so that was probably part of the problem. I was playing my Tiger 2, which is still has like the stock gun, so I was bouncing a lot of shots with that. And I was playing the Carnarvon, which is like way stock right now. I don't have anything on that tank. I was able to get the tracks tonight, but oops, I missed a spot. It just was not a good night. Nights like that make me want to quit, but we kept playing, and some of the battles went really well. Some of the even with Mr. Mean and myself and Black Chicken, some of the teams were just dead in like minutes. It's like, come on, guys, stick together, figure it out. All right. So anyway, oops. All right, so we have a couple more strips to do here, and we'll move on to the last field, and then we'll have to cultivate all this and then seed it. The Deutzfor. So this is going to be a Deutz farm. I did find a 110 model. I'm going to have to look it over and make sure I'm happy with the model. It looked like it was the wrong color. But they do have a couple. I was looking for a smaller Deutz Fahr tractor to kind of match this. You know, maybe one small and one large. We'll see what we get to when we get the bazillion dollars. But it'd be nice to have a small tractor that can work around the farm that's more of like the kind of the one that we use for moving materials around. Moving trailers. We'll see. Sorry. I didn't see any other clean way to do that. I suppose. Oh! Oh, you rocketed off there. Bzzz. Speaking of bzzz, we had our... Why did I miss all that? What the heck? Doing a terrible job. We, our power went out last night in the middle of the night. I'm not sure what caused it, but it must have been high winds or something. But I woke up in the middle of the night to beep, beep, beep. Like all my UPSs were freaking out because I have battery backups for both my computers. So it was like, and then the other one was like, beep, beep. I'm like, uh-oh, what is that? Like it woke me up, and I'm like, but what was neat was it actually did. I had enough time to get to my computers. Turn the monitors on, you know, warm it up, move the mouse, shut the computer off, and then went to the other computer, did the same thing, and I was able to shut both computers down without having a crash, so it worked. But it's here where I live, because we have underground wires, like all of our electricity is underground, it's super rare that we ever have any kind of power outages. It's really, really rare. You have to have a really big weather event for that to happen, because it has to take out the lines that, you know, power the neighborhood. And so it's happened. We've had maybe like 5 or 6 power outages since I've lived here for 10 years. I mean, they almost never happen. So it was an odd circumstance. All right. Nope. There we go. I knew I'd get it eventually. So we have one more field to attend to, and then we will be set for cultivation. Phase 2 of our farm. Wait, come on, dude, let me out. Of our farm fun. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I don't see this map actually being able to support tractors much larger than this, though they don't really get much wider than this, so it'd probably be fine, anything bigger, but because they're all about the same size as far as like width, especially with my super tires. Sorry, my nose is running. Oh. All right. Let's put some... Nope. So just keep a nice straight line across. I'm looking at this line in the field just to the, I don't know if you guys can see it, just to the left of my chevron, whatever they call that thing on the nose of the tractor, so you can keep a straight line. Hopefully this will allow us to... Oh, but it changed a little bit. I lost where it was. But good enough. We should be straight up. That was it. I gotta go this way. Yeah, we're going to keep our wheel in that rut right there. And we should be able to make nice straight lines. There we go. So we're off. Plowing the last field. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to the spring. Nice weather. Being able to go for walks again. Not be tied up in the house. I'm trying to think what else we could talk about tonight. I'm kind of running out of subject material. This is what happens when I record 2 episodes back to back. I'm like, duh, nothing new. So yeah, we went over the date. Let's see. Got a bunch of new photo shoots, but nothing exciting. All like local realtor stuff. I am working on my drone license. I should have it hopefully in a week or 2. There's so much information that you have to go through to get the certification. They really have made it quite a challenge. You almost have to become a small aircraft pilot. I know some of the things, but some of the I'm going to have to learn how to read the sectional charts. But I like maps and cartography, so it should be a fairly enjoyable experience to learn how to do that. I don't think it's going to be too bad figuring that stuff out. But it just takes time, you know. So I'm just trying to make sure I do at least an hour to an hour and a half of study a day, and hopefully be able to get it done in 2 weeks, you know. Gonna run this like a unidirectional plow. Just back into the next. I like the way you can see the plow in the mirror, and like I can tell it's up and down. I saw it go down. The realtor that I worked with yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. I did a drone shoot for them, and man, was she cute. But anyway, they had a she's doing the 3D tours. Like, she bought her own 3D Matterport equipment. Oh, this one's not see-through. Okay. Ha! Oh, but I was done anyway. And so she bought her own 3D tour camera, and so it's really cool how it works. You put the iPad. It works. It has an interface that goes to the iPad, but it's also, those things are like, I mean, I don't know how she got the money for it, but they're like $10,000. I'm like, you have one? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, can I see you do it? And she's like, yeah. So she'd let me see her, like, operate it. I've thought about getting one for myself, for my company, but I'm like, people are really cheap, especially the realtors. The ones that actually care about that kind of thing, in general, they don't want to pay more than like $200 for a service. So if I get in there and I'm like, yeah, I can do that, the virtual tour mapping, and, well, how much is it? Well, let's see, how big is the house? Oh, it's, 3,000 square feet. Well, we charge, $300 per 1,000 square feet, and it's like a $600 or $700 project. They're not going to go for it. There's no way. And so I decided that it just wouldn't work for me. I mean, it might, but I don't. That's a huge investment to make on a risk that nobody is going to do it. I've had one realtor ask me if I do it, and I was like, no, I don't. And they're like, okay, see ya, next person. But in general, it's like, it's just it. If you tell, like, when I tell people, like, the drone stuff, even let's say I do video, it's $350 for the shoot and an additional $100 for the video. I mean, it's a no-brainer. $100 to get a full walkthrough video, like a 5-minute video showcasing the house with drone footage from the outside and everything. That's a no-brainer. Nobody does it. Nobody. They're like, I'll just do the $350. I don't need the. Okay. So. Anyway, that's what I run up against nowadays. And it's always been an issue. There's always cheap realtors out there, so some of them I'll give them a discount for first time use or whatever, but they're always like, they're just so cheap. And the funny thing is, they get hundreds of dollars in their budget for that. They just want to keep the money themselves, though. And wouldn't you? I mean, I would. But it's like, you know what? No, if you're gonna have a professional do it, you need to pay them professional wages to do professional work. So anyway, Yeah, we are almost done. Speaking of which, I do need to get my camera ready before I go to bed. That's another thing I got to remember to do. I have to make sure I have charged batteries, which I think I do, but I could throw a couple on the charger. Make sure I have a memory card. Yep, this field's almost done. Look at that. Yeah, so anyway, I didn't really enjoy high school. What are you talking about, the computer stuff? I liked some of my classes, though, and my teachers were cool. I liked my teachers, but I was definitely a nerd, obviously, in high school, and so it was a kind of awkward experience, which culminated in a really funny... I think I've told this story before, but maybe not. So, did I tell this story? I must have told this story before, maybe. When I was a senior, okay, so people were, like, really mean to me when I was in junior high. Like, really mean. Like, I never got in fights. I never got beat up because I was too big. Like, I was a big guy, but people just, but they'd still pick on me. It's like they always want to pick a fight. And they make fun of me. I got made fun of all the time. People were just so nasty to me in high school, or junior high. Not necessarily high school as much, but still a bit, And it left a really bad taste in my mouth. Like, they were spoiled, bratty, rich kids from Rocky River, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't like this whole situation, and I don't really like being here, and the only reason I'm here is because I have to be. I can't wait to get out of here. Like, my life, all my friends went to my church. I was like a cool kid at church, which is really funny, but I was like the nerd in high school. And I hung around with the nerdy kids, and that's okay because they're still my friends. So they were good friends. They're good people. But anyway, it was just a, I'm sure everybody goes through it, but it was a rough experience. Like I said, kids are always picking on me, and I got made fun of because I liked Nintendo. When I was in high school, I got made fun of because I liked Metallica, and then all of a sudden Metallica got popular, and I had been playing guitar from the time I was 15 on. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like, some kids walked by. I was in the jazz band. And nerd, right? And with all the other actually talented musical nerd kids that played the jazz combo, and I was setting up before one of our concerts, and we were just goofing. We were there like 2 hours beforehand. They let us out of class early, and I'm like, all right, sweet, So I plugged in my guitar in the auditorium, and I'm nobody's in there. It was just me and like one or two friends, and I started riffing off. This is my senior year. I mean, just jamming, and I wasn't a great guitar player then, but I could play pretty well. I could play some pretty cool leads and knew how to play Metallica and stuff like that. And I was just riffing some stuff off. And, some of these, jock kids that were always mean to me walked by, and they're like looking in. They're like, whoa. And so, like, within like the next day, like, everybody was like, I was the coolest thing. They're like, dude, you want to hang out? Hey, man, we're having a party this weekend. You want to come? And I was like, no. I just totally was like, no, pretty much. You used to beat me up because I had Pro Wings tennis shoes, and now you want me to come hang out with you because I play guitar. I'm really not too happy with that situation. No, no thanks. But it was pretty funny. We did. So anyway, I did get in. I want to say my sophomore year. We were listening to Metallica at that point. We were playing guitar. I was playing guitar. My friend was playing drums, and we loved Metallica because they were pretty, easy to play, but yet still cool sounding, and it was like, so we were listening to like Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets and like all these old, I know, Christian Arty, I know, but I was playing this, listening and playing this stuff, and it was, it was good music. It was good guitar stuff. Like, if you're learning how to play guitar, it was fun stuff to play. And so anyway, my friend and I had a little band, and we were playing this stuff and learning how to play it, and but the kids, would make fun of us. Oh, Metallica, bang your heads. AC/DC's way cooler. And we're thinking like, AC/DC, come on, man. I mean, they're all right. They got their merits, but dude, they're just a glorified haircut band. Come on, man. Like, anyway, so they would make fun of us, and then by the time I was in high school, Metallica was all of a sudden like super cool. Like, Enter Sandman. One was their first, obviously, like, commercial release. They did a video for One and did what they swore they'd never do, and they made a music video, and it skyrocketed to the top of the charts, and now all of a sudden everybody knew who Metallica was, and everybody loved Metallica, and they were on their Black tour or whatever it was, Black album tour, and anyway, we got this idea. We said to the one of the service coordinators, where they had their pep rally, and we're like, hey, listen, would you guys like us? Our friends, we could put together a band and we could play Enter Sandman, because that was the theme for the pep rally. It was like Enter Sandman because of the song Enter Sandman. And so we told they're like, yeah, you could do it. So this is so funny. We had we did it. Like I got one of our friends had a PA, and then my friend Paul could play the rhythm guitar parts, and then I was playing the leads, and my friend Brian played bass, and my friend Lee played drums. And we've been, Lee and I had been gigging together for a long time, so we knew, how to play Metallica songs, and we just had it together. So we got up there in front of the whole school and played Enter Sandman, and it went off. So people just freaked out, like they were like, "Wow!" They came running down into the. It was so fun. It was like one of those pivotal moments in life where. Like the Napoleon Dynamite dance. That was that moment in my life. That was my Napoleon Dynamite moment, where just people all of a sudden were like, "You guys are so cool," and it sounded great. Like we went back, we had I don't know, I don't have it anymore, but we had it all recorded on VHS and stuff, and we sounded really good. The singer sounded terrible. He was like, she probably would have been a good. Hardcore metal singer nowadays, like with how they burp their words out, but that sounded horrible. But the guitars sounded amazing. Like it really sounded good. We were blasting out in this gymnasium. It sounded so good. And so anyway, long story short, because there's more to this, we had my friend Lee, then the drummer, he was part of the local cable access news channel, like you have Cox Cable or whatever cable company you have, they have like local channels, right? And like once a month there's a show that comes on the channel. Otherwise it just has like this board, like, to program on our channel 23, call 1-800 whatever. So our school had a deal with Cox Cable, and they had a show called River Current. And so we got on River Current, and my friend Lee did this interview, and we made this whole thing, and we actually played the video. Like, we had one of the guys interview us, and then we played the video, right? And so it got played on TV. And so then, like, 4 years later, I'm at the Video Game Exchange in Parma, right? Like, totally. I mean, this has been a long time. I'm in high school, or I'm in college. I've been in college for 3 years, or 4 years or whatever. And this is years later. And there's this guy there, like, behind the counter, long hair, like hockey shirt, like the total heavy metal, like, like look. And he's like, "Dude, I recognize you." And I'm like, okay, like, I'm in Parma. I mean, I know people in Parma. I went to school in Parma. I'm like, okay, like, I went to Tri-C for school, and I'm like, I know people in Parma, but I don't recognize you. And he's like, no. He's like, "You're that dude that played the lead guitar on Enter Sandman at Rocky River High School." And I'm like, "Yeah, how did you know that?" He's like, "You're the best." It was so funny. Like, what an obscure place to pick somebody up, and then the fact that he recognized me. Like, what the heck was that all about? But it's one of those funny things in life, the things we do, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty good. Like, I had the whole, I memorized the whole guitar solo, so I could play the whole thing. Like, I had the whole, I had the wah pedal and everything, Oh man. But I have my rock. Everybody at church calls me rock star. Because of the way I play guitar. Like, I don't, like, most of the guys, they just kind of stand up there, but I like smile and, like, point at people and stuff because I'm having fun, it's like great. I love playing guitar. It's like what I do. So they're like, "Hey, what's up, Rockstar?" I'm like, "What's going on?" Oh my gosh, I'm such a nerd. But yeah, one of the things that Zach and a couple of you guys pointed out, they're like, maybe you should make like guitar tutorials. I will have to work on that. You know, the hard thing is I'm so busy learning the stuff for church that I don't really like sit down and learn like metal riffs anymore. One thing I really want to learn how to do, and I've never been able to do this because I play the guitar all wrong. I taught myself, and I have a lot of bad habits that I've picked up. I can play it really well, but I've got bad habits that keep me from doing some things. And one of the things that I've always been wanting to be able to do is to do like arpeggiated sweeps, and I've seen people do it. They make it look so easy. Like I've seen little kids do it. I'm like, if that kid can do it, I can do it, because he can't really even play the guitar. He just knows how to sweep. Like he picked up the technique, and he does it. So there's got to be a way to do it. I just haven't figured it out yet. But that's one thing that I really, really want to learn how to do. I've always wanted to learn arpeggiates, and I can play the notes. Like I can, you know, but I can't. When they start doing the like, I just can't move fast enough. I can't get my brain to pick fast enough and to get the strings to coordinate. I don't. And they do it with very simple settings. I've seen people do it with like basically just an amp, like no effects and no compressor. They're just straight up plugged right into this tube amp, and you know, and they get that sound. So there's got to be a way to do it fairly easily. But that's one part of electric guitar that I just have not mastered. So I'm fairly good, but I'm not super. I watch other people play, and I'm just like blown away a lot of times. Like, man, I wish I could do that. I'm just like anybody. Whenever you play an instrument, that's the one thing I've learned about guitar. There's always somebody better than you. There always is. There's always a guy that right down the street that can play the guitar better than you can. It doesn't matter how good you are. There's always going to be somebody that's a little bit better. And so you just come to the realization that, you know what, I like what I do. I enjoy what I do, and I do the best I can with the guitar, and it works. You know, I'm excited because I get to use it at church, and I get to use it. You know, people really enjoy the music, and it's something positive, and I'm doing something good with the talent that God's given me, and I feel like I'm being a blessing with it for people. People really enjoy it, and there's a lot of people that love, you know, rock guitar, and so it's like we have a lot of guys at our church that are, you know, we have a pretty big motorcycle crowd, and they like rock and roll, you know, so it's like, you know, they come from like, hey, these guys love Led Zeppelin, and they love, you know, like, you know, Aerosmith, and they love rock and roll, and so for them it's like what I bring to them and what the band brings to them, and these other guys, because they're all really good musicians, we bring that rock and roll. They're just like, we love it. So it's fun. I really enjoy it because I love it too. I love rocking out. I know there's all kinds of crazy implications, and people don't like rock music, and you shouldn't have drums in church and all this stuff. I always point out when people say stuff like that, when the organ first came out, the church banned it, and they said that they felt like it was the sound of screaming souls and demons. And so you were not allowed to play. Go figure. You weren't allowed to play organ in church. This is a true story. When the pipe organ first came out, they banned it because they felt that it was demonic. So, and now when you associate church music, the first thing you think of is that organ. You know. Anyway. Music is a vessel in itself. It can't be. I don't think music's good or evil by itself. I think it's the intent of the author and the intent of the people that are playing it that make a difference. So it can be a positive message. It can be a negative message, but it in itself. It can be you know. Honestly, most people don't realize this, and this is going to offend some people, but the hymns that everybody loves, and I'm not saying necessarily Catholic hymns, but in general, Baptist hymns. You know, the Old Rugged Cross, stuff like that. They're all written to bar tunes. They're actually the people that wrote the lyrics. They wrote the lyrics, but a lot of them actually come from like 1800s bar tunes. So, you know, it's not. It's like taking a Led Zeppelin song basically and writing Christian lyrics to it. How did I get on this subject? But anyway, yeah, so a lot of people get offended by, you know, like rock and roll in the church and stuff, but we've been essentially doing the same thing for the last 200 years or more, and you know, let's face it, there's always been music in the church. If you look in the Bible and you go back, I mean, God had a whole people set aside to lead the music portion of church. They were psalteries and harps and lyres, or whatever a lyre is. Lyre, maybe it's pronounced, I don't know. but they had musical instruments, timbrels and trumpets and horns, and I mean it was music. You had music going on. So I don't know. I'm a strong supporter of music and Christianity. Obviously. All right, so here we are in the farm. We've done all the plowing. We're at 35 minutes. We'll start doing the cultivating, and then we will start, once the cultivating and planting is done, we are going to do the gold. I'm going to predict probably episode 5 or 6 for the gold hunt. But in the meantime, we can enjoy some good old-fashioned farming, and we're going to continue having that going on all the time. Like I said, the gold hunt is not going to necessarily make this like, hey, we're going to buy all this stuff, and we're going to start moving into like things like logging, or we are going to be using those funds to buy animals. And to buy the equipment that we need to handle the animals, and then also possibly to, it's just going to be all equipment and animals, and maybe some fields too. I really like to add some more fields to the farm, but we're just about making money now. But we're just going to take our time and enjoy it. And like I said, the gold rush will be kind of a loan. It'll be the way that we can afford our forage harvester. So let's see here. This plow. Where should I put this thing? I mean, it's kind of awkward and long. Awkward. We're definitely going to have to buy some more seed. Where can I put this thing? Not there, huh? It's such an awkward piece of equipment to store because it's so long. I think maybe in these, we should be able to get it in here. And then, let's see. We do need to do poplars on this map too for wood chips. I want to try that using this forage harvester. So maybe we need to get the FR 850 or whatever. I need to, what are we doing here? I need to disconnect. Oh, I have to, dang it. I forgot. You can't put it down like this. You gotta, oops, the wrong button. Stop. Oh, God. There we go. That fits nice. All right. So let's go ahead and grab smush chicken. I gotta pee. I can hold it for 7 more minutes. All right. Sorry, a little crazy night. I'll calm down, I promise. We're going to just take it out to the field like... Oh, my goodness. Is this lifting me off the front? I feel like it lifted me up. I think we're up off the ground. Is that heavy? It can't be that heavy. Oh my, it is. Look at the tires. They're all squished. Well, maybe with that extra tubing on the unit. Yeah, this is the right size for this tractor. Whoa! I kind of chucked it. All right. So anyway, somebody had mentioned maybe doing guitar tutorials, so I might have to delve into that a little bit, or just play a little bit for you guys here and there. Uh-oh. Okay. I was gonna say, I don't think it's too heavy to run without a weight. This tractor should have enough weight on it to... Okay, somebody was asking in the comments too, and I forgot to address this in the last video, what the difference was between the tires. Honestly, in this game, there isn't. If this game actually had realistic physics, like where you had things like the tractor getting stuck in the mud, or if I was to use that mod that makes the crops get crushed, you'd want to use, like in this case, like when you're doing heavy field work like this, where I'm plowing or I'm cultivating, you want to use big wide tires. You want to distribute the weight of the tractor out across the field so that you don't damage the field while you're working it. If you decide to use the regular tires, they're fine too. This is a little bit a little bit more protective for your soil because it spreads the weight out, so it's not damaging the soil as much. Now, for regular road use, though, you want to have the standard tires. These big wide tires will get eaten up pretty quickly on the road if you just use them. So that's the reason why you use standard tires. And then the wheel weights, obviously, to keep the tractor on the ground when you're using heavy implements. Like the rear wheel weights would be a good thing if you're using the bucket loader. You'd want to keep those weights on. And if you have the narrow tires, obviously those little skinny, funky-looking tires are what you're going to use when you're fertilizing so that you don't damage the crops. Now, while it puts more weight on the soil, it's putting it on around where the crops are. So one of the things that Cattle and Crops is going to do that's a little bit different than the Farm Sim is that they actually are including crop destruction as a default in the game. So you're going to have to really watch the kind of tires you use and how much, and like the path that you take when you fertilize. You're going to want to follow that same path over and over again so that you don't kill off all your crops. And that is something that goes on in real life, by the way. You don't just magically traverse through your crops. You have to actually watch what you're doing. So anyway, thought I'd share that part. But I mean, it would be nice to have a little bit wider cultivator, but you can see here, I mean, because we have all these hills, this is like pretty much the limit of what the tractor can pull. We're getting pulled way down speed-wise, which means that the tractor's working really hard to get up these inclines. So that's basically the difference between the tires. The wide tires are good for, saving the soil, but in this game, they don't really make a big difference, honestly. Same thing with the dual tires. The dual tires there's been a big debate about this, but from what I've read online, it does give you a little more traction. The reason being is not because they're wider or more tire, because it's dirt, but the reason being is because when you're traveling on dirt and you have double tires on, the farmers actually reduce the amount of pressure, the air pressure that's in the tires for wide tires. So what that means is the tires are squishier. They tend to dig into the dirt a little bit better. So when you have double tires on your tractor, you actually do in real life get better traction. So that's why you'd want to do it. But also, more of it is for ride comfort. These tractors, obviously, even though this game models them, like Kyle always says, it models them with suspension. Most tractors do not have any form of road suspension in them. They're stiff. Like they basically are. There's no shocks and springs. So the tractor is basically a stiff implement, and you bounce over the dirt, and it's very uncomfortable. If you're out of the tractor, it's going to take you 2 weeks to plow and seed and cultivate. You could damage your back, using the tractor for long periods of time. You could get injured. So one of the things that they do is they use double tires because they can soften the tires up a lot. It makes the ride a lot softer. It's easier on the equipment and it's easier on you. So that's one of the reasons why they use double tires. But the wide tires kind of do the same thing. Not necessarily better traction, but definitely soil damage protection. And a smoother ride, softer ride for the tractor occupant. So I may, depending on how I feel. The downside is, once again, I can't transfer these files to my other computer. I guess I could, but I can't really play this farm as my single-player farm right now on my laptop. So, but maybe I will. My point is, I'd like to be able to get more done so that next time we come back, we're a little more advanced in what we're doing. But it's not a huge deal. I don't mind taking you guys along with me either. It kind of makes it fun. You guys get used to the farm and seeing all the different places and actually working the farm with me. I know some of you have said that you prefer it more edited. Other people have said that they prefer just to see me doing the whole job. So as long as I have stories to tell, I think doing the whole job works out fine. It's when I run out of content that you hear the crickets, and then maybe it's time to take a break and just finish this elsewhere. So anyway, I am now currently 100% out of content. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of my channel. I hope you guys are enjoying this new Old Stream series with yours truly, and when my kids are around, them also. But they're at their mom's tonight. They got dropped off around 5 o'clock this afternoon, so I'm on my own for the next couple days with Mark and Ryan. It's nice and quiet here And so we are just having a nice night to ourselves. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Have a great night. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the fields of Old Streams and Sosnovka and Coldborough, which we're going to be recording more this week. I apologize for the delay. It just takes me some time to get these series out. And like I said, I prefer to get you better quality over quantity. That's one of the reasons why I'm changing around the way I do some of these things. I want you guys to really have content that you enjoy, that makes you excited, that brings quality to what we are doing, but it also brings you something that's worth watching. So have a great night. See you tomorrow.